There are 3 principles which govern good performance feedback. And to help you remember them, I've created a simple acronym. It's all about setting the bar high. And BAR stands for behaviours, awareness, and responsibility. So let's look at the 3 principles for good performance feedback. We can think of performance at work as being something like an iceberg. There's stuff you can see above the waterline, but there's a whole load going on down below the waterline. Above the waterline, we see 2 things primarily. We see the performance that someone is able to deliver and the outcomes that they achieve through that level of performance. However, below the waterline are all the things that can drive that performance. Below the waterline, we've got capabilities. And below that are all the motivations, beliefs, and attitudes that they have about themselves. And then sitting at the deepest level is their sense of identity and the things that are most important to them, like their values. The thing is, we can't know what's below the waterline. We can sometimes infer some things about them. For example, we might understand somebody's values from the choices that they make. But in truth, whilst we know that if someone does something, then they are clearly capable of doing it, we don't know that if they don't do it, or if they do it wrong, that necessarily means that they're not capable. There may be all sorts of other things getting in the way. So the first important principle of performance feedback is that it needs to be based on the things we can observe, the behaviours, the performance itself, because everything else below is not observable and then can't be based on evidence. Making suppositions about someone's motivations, their attitudes, their beliefs, their values, or even their capabilities is at best prone to be wrong at times, and at worst, just plain disrespectful. As a result, good performance feedback will always be based on observed behaviours, the actual performance that someone delivers. And that's why I will constantly be referring to it as performance feedback. My second principle for performance feedback is awareness. High quality feedback provides high quality awareness for the person who's receiving it. As a result, we can start to anticipate what excellent feedback will look like, because excellent feedback is calibrated to deliver that high quality awareness. And the first thing it has to be is specific, because it's details that allow us to really understand the situation. If we give feedback in terms of generalizations, then the awareness that the other person will receive is going to be pretty woolly and unclear. It's hard to decide what changes I need to make based on generalizations, but give me some specific information and I can design my changes and get better performance. If you want high quality awareness, the second thing I'd highlight is the need for checking that the person you're giving feedback to understands the feedback you're giving them. Always give people the opportunity to ask questions, invite the questions, invite them to probe the details. And of course, if you've gathered specific evidence-based feedback, then you'll be able to answer their questions. And the third thing that I'd highlight at this point is the need for the right amount of information. If you give too much information, people become overloaded, overwhelmed by the amount of information, and they can't process it properly. As a result, they don't get that high quality of awareness. You need to feed the right amount of information at the right rate so that people can assimilate that feedback and act on what's most important. So there are 2 tasks here. One is selecting which feedback is the most relevant at the right time. And secondly is how do you deliver it? How do you pace that delivery? My third principle for great performance feedback is responsibility. You need to incite the responsibility to take action on the feedback. Feedback is of no use if we don't use it. So make sure you give your feedback with the intent to help someone learn, develop, and make changes. As a result, good performance feedback needs to be part of a process and not a single event. Of course, you can give single point feedback when it's appropriate, but you need to set up a process of constantly giving feedback to the people you're responsible for. Also, if people are going to take responsibility for action, then you have to focus your feedback on the future. You have to make it forward focused. It's no good blaming. It's no good identifying what was wrong without helping people to understand what the solutions are and the changes they can make. So if there are problems, then help people to work out what they can do about them. But critically, it's praise that really grows us. So where you can, give feedback about what people do right so that they can understand that and focus on doing more of it and making it a more systematic part of their day-to-day practice. Ultimately, for me, the responsibility part is summed up in a simple phrase. If at first you don't succeed, try something else. For me, feedback is giving people a chance to make changes so that they can do something better. And when they get it right and there is no more opportunity for improvement, then they can move on to greater challenges. Please do give a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come, so please do subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.